Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon, people. Arno TV is back with you once again on YouTube, bringing you more videos like we promised you. Okay? Now, the reason that we're back today is I've just watched something and read something, yeah, that is absolutely unbelievable, but confirms a lot of the suspicions that I had during the lockdown periods and the agendas that our despicable governments were pushing on us. Okay, so let me go over to the internet and let me read something to you, okay, because this is something that people really need to be aware of. Okay, so let's just go over to the internet and see what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this, and the link will be left in the description. So, Dutch Minister of Health says COVID-19 is a NATO military operation. And this article is from November the 19th, 2024. Let's just read it and see what she says. Dutch Health Minister Fleur Agema called the coronavirus pandemic a NATO military operation, noting that it was led directly by the North Atlantic Alliance and the Netherlands National Coordinator for Security and Counterterrorism, NCTV, about this with a link to the website slaynews.com. The Telegram channel, Gin from the Test Tube reports, the minister stressed that the government of the European country responded to the pandemic by fulfilling obligations to NATO. At the same time, Fleur Agema said that NCTV's policy regarding the pandemic was a coup d'etat. Dutch researcher, I think this is pronounced Kies van den Bos, reacted to this recognition, describing NCTV as a puppet of NATO. This country, he states, this country will become free only if NCTV is completely abolished, and such shadow governments will never be able to gain a foothold again. And that's what he said. As reported by slaynews.com, during the pandemic, NATO developed guidelines responding to COVID-19, which were distributed through the foreign ministers of member states. The article states, the article states that this explains why Sweden, which joined NATO only this year, was the only country in Europe that adhered to a softer policy during the pandemic. According to Fleur Agema, both COVID and the current pandemic preparedness is a military operation that has nothing to do with healthcare in its traditional sense of the word. NCTV, a government agency of the Netherlands, responsible for national security of the country. This is what this Dutch minister has said, okay? And this has been said in the last couple of days. Now, I want people to think and remember what I said all along in the pandemic about the direction of travel, the agenda that these people were pushing, the draconian laws that they were, putting down all over us. We all remember, people like Jacinda Ardern, talking about there'll be a two-tier society. Let's remind ourselves of what people like Jacinda Ardern said, shall we?
So you basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the two different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is, so, yep.
You hear that? This is what these kind of people were trying to push all over us. So when I was trying to warn everybody about what was going on, we now have Dutch ministers coming out and stating publicly that the pandemic was a NATO military operation. This is unbelievable, okay? And it just confirms a lot of the things that I was deeply suspicious about what was going on at that time. And remember people like Keir Starmer who were calling for lockdowns. Let's just remember what people like Stalin Starmer said, shall we? Let's just have a reminder of what Stalin Starmer said.
Bringing those restrictions now, national restrictions, within the next 24 hours. That has to be the first step to controlling the virus. Nationwide lockdown. The Prime Minister is hinting that that's going to happen, but he's delaying again. And we can't afford that again. We can't allow the Prime Minister to use up the next 2 or 3 weeks and then bring in the national lockdown that is inevitable. Do it now. That's the necessary first step to get the virus back under control. It is inevitable that more schools are going to close. Many will be closed tomorrow morning. But the more important thing, in a way, is the national restrictions need to come in the next 24 hours.
So when I tried to warn people, about what was going on during the pandemic, do you still think I'm crazy now when we have Dutch health ministers coming out making statements like this? Like I told you, people, this is how this dark road started to where we are now at, where we have people being locked up in prison for words, for God's sake. When I told you all during the pandemic that these people had a lot to answer for, I wasn't kidding out there. I wasn't kidding about these tyrants and what they were doing. We now, in the last couple of days, have Dutch health ministers making statements like this. Okay? This is not a crackpot or anybody that's coming out with things like this. This is a Dutch health minister, for God's sake. So, do we now understand, people? Do we, all you people out there that wanted to accuse me of conspiracy theory, and being a nutcase, are you now starting to understand why I was so deeply concerned of the direction of travel and what these people were trying to do to us? And now look where we are. We are now living in a world where people are being locked up, like I've told you, for dissent against our own government. And as I said in the video the other day, I want to make this absolutely clear. I am not talking about people, that call for violence or spew out hatred. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the average normal person that's deeply concerned with the direction of travel of our own governments, and wants to dissent and voice their concern. And we have people like Keir Starmer that want to lock people up in jail for this, okay? So, when are people going to wake up to who these people are? And like I've told you, people like Jacinda Ardern, and Keir Starmer and Johnson and Sunak and Hancock and all these people, they're all working hand in hand with the World Economic Forum, pushing the agendas that we have tried to warn you about all along on this channel. These people are absolutely disgraceful, tyrannical, and they do not have your or my best interests at heart. These people are tyrants, and it's as simple as that. These people want to take us into a world, They want to take us into a world that's something of the like I've said on many occasions, of the 1930s. These people want to, lock people up, quarantine people. These, people like Jacinda Ardern and over in Australia, they were putting people in camps, for God's sake. Have people forgotten this? And look where we are now. Look at where we are now in Western society. We are in such a dark place, okay, that I dread to think what is round the corner. And we now have people, like Keir Starmer, almost pushing for World War III. These people are using missiles now that were made in our country and firing them into Russia via the proxy state of Ukraine. That is what these people are doing. What on earth are these people trying to do? What, they want a nuclear war now, do they, these people? I mean, this is insanity, people. When are people going to start to wake up en masse against these people? As I said in my video yesterday, it needs a lot of brave people from a lot of different communities to start coming together and calling these people out. Because these people, like I told you all along, they have a lot to answer for. And every single one of them that we speak about on this channel, every single one of them is working hand in hand with the WEF, pushing their dirty, disgusting, divisive agendas. That is who these people are, and it's about time that a lot more people start to wake up to this. I mean, we have health ministers in a European country coming out and making statements like this publicly. Yeah. I mean, what more proof do people need about the direction of travel in the last 4 years? And, you know, everybody in the main just went along with it like sheep. And look at where we are now. The economy's destroyed. Businesses have been destroyed. Savings have been destroyed. You know, there are people this winter that are going to freeze to death. Yeah, we're going to have pensioners in this country freezing to death through draconian policies like people like Keir Starmer have put in. Okay? Is this what people want? Because these people, these vile, despicable, divisive people, yeah, it's about time that a lot more people start to realise that the things that we tried to warn you about all along is exactly what has been going on and is going on. It's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. And I'm going to leave the link to that article in the description on this video so you can go read it yourself. Okay? Don't take my word for it. It's not me that's come out and said this. This is a Dutch health minister that is making statements like this about what went on in the pandemic. And isn't it convenient, like I said in a recent video, you know, isn't it convenient that we had a general election in July and not one political party from any spectrum mentioned what went on in the pandemic, as if it never happened, as if it never happened. These people destroyed people's lives. People weren't allowed to see their dying relatives because of the policies that these people implemented. And do you not remember that our despicable government, yeah, were quite happy in the pandemic to be sending the police round to general members of the public's houses and fining them up to £10,000 for breaking lockdown rules, while at the same time, these same despicable politicians like Johnson and Hancock were breaking the rules the whole way through the pandemic. And you've forgotten that. They were having parties left, right and centre in Whitehall and Downing Street, laughing at you, okay? That is what these people were doing. These people are an absolute disgrace, and they all need to be held to account. So when I said before that people like Johnson and Starmer, etc., should be dragged into Parliament and made to answer serious questions about what they have done and the type of things that they are doing to the public, I'm not kidding. This is unbelievable that we have a Dutch health minister making statements of this nature. This is the world that these vile, despicable people have taken us into. So if you've enjoyed this video, yeah, and you want to see more, then please like and subscribe to this channel. And once you do, ring the notification bell so I can inform you people out there about future videos that I'm going to be putting out, future streams that I'm going to be putting out, about all these people and what they are doing. Because Arno TV is not going to stay silent. We are not going to stay silent while these people run around ripping up democracy, and they are throwing it into the dustbin of history because they want to replace democracy all over the Western world with this new multilateral global system that these people all want to put into place and have us all living in servitude to them. That is what is going on. So I will be back soon, people, with more videos for you. But until I am, take care, look after yourselves and your friends and your family. And as I said on many occasions, whatever you do, stop listening to people like Keir Starmer.